Seated. So in the season of Lent, the scripture talks about the Sabbath this day, the rest that we desire in our lives. And one thing about our second reading, St. Paul's epistle, it gives you rest. Thank God. I'm not the only one who's struggling with this. Akala ko ako lang may kasalanan eh. I thought I was the only one struggling with sin. I thought I was the only one doing the things that I do not want to do. And yet the inner conviction is, shouting to us, it's wrong. St. Paul has the same experience. But as he said, thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. Father Leo is not the only one. I'm together with St. Paul. And that gives me rest. Akala ko ako lang. And it helps when we are honest with our confession tonight. It helps also other people. And that gives them rest. So the first reading shares with us to take heed to yourselves that you are observing the Sabbath and not taking any load, doing work in the Sabbath. And we look at the Pharisees and we may be in the same boat with them. We can observe Sabbath day and not really experiencing rest. And we can be in the midst of the storm like the disciples and experiencing rest. And that's the trick maybe in Lent, that we have to take heed to ourselves and begin to ask ourselves, especially in this day, are we really observing the Sabbath? Are we really doing the works of God? Or are we doing the works that we want to do? Which puts burden and we don't experience rest. When we try to do things our own ways, carrying our own load and making it more heavy on ourselves, instead of taking heed to ourselves and asking, am I really doing the work of God? Examining ourselves. Am I burdened? Am I heavily laden? I don't experience the rest that God wants me to have. Maybe we have to really take heed to ourselves that, ask ourselves, am I still doing the work that God wants me to do? Or am I just doing things that I want to do? And that's the daily Sabbath that we need in our lives, a daily inspection that we are doing the works that God wants us. And as we look at the gospel, again, it's another challenge or introspection that we need to have in our lives. The gospel says that they're in the midst of the storm. And the disciples were, because of God's grace and mercy, they were desperate. They were maybe without hope. They were in fear. And in the middle of the night, they're in darkness. But the challenge to us is, can we be like the disciples who can see Christ in the midst of the storm? Kasi most of us can see Christ when we meditate on the altar, or if we have this tawag doon, may post sa loob, monstrance. Yes, of course, we experience Christ. We see Christ. But siguro ang challenge sa atin is the daily storms of life. In the midst of the fear and darkness that we experience, can we open our hearts and allow God for us to see Him in the midst of the storm? Kasi, like St. Paul, maybe we're all the same. Talagang galit at init ang ulong may experience mo instead of seeing Christ at that time. And most of the time, maybe we can see Christ after our daily examine. Pero during, hindi. Pero that what the scripture was talking about is that during the midst of the storm, God revealed Himself to the disciples. And ito yung challenge. Maybe in the midst of the storm, that's when God wants us to experience the rest and the Sabbath. Ano, no? Parang ang tawag ng ironic or whatever term we can use. That in the midst of the storm, that's the avenue of God where God wants for us to rest, to see Him, and to hear His voice. Do not be afraid. I am He. Do not be afraid. That's where He wants to manifest Himself in Psalm 97:99. The Lord reigns in the midst of the storm. Maybe in our introspection and evaluating ourselves, that's one of the questions that we have to build ourselves up to the point that we can really see the grace of God, that the Lord is reigning in the midst of the storm, and then in the midst of the storm, we can have that rest. We can have that Sabbath. And says there, they received Him into the boat, and bihira to si John gumamit ng, most of the time it's Mark who uses the word immediately. But here John, I don't know, I did not look at the concordance how many times he used immediately. Pero ito yung na-notice ko. I think it's the first time he used immediately. They were already at the other side. That's the rest, that God wants. But the thing there is that we have to go to the point where we can really see the grace of God in the midst of this world. That we can experience the rest that He wants us to be. Quite, that's not quite a real challenge. But it's only, during this season of Lent, we are talking about prayer, fasting, and thanksgiving, or doing good works. And siguro, yesterday I experienced this Jesus in the midst of the storm, but I'm not the Jesus. The stranger is the Jesus. You have your elderly father who, we went to a lot of places yesterday, not to make pasyal, but to get some requirements. He wants to go to the US, maybe to get a young woman to keep him warm. And he's dragging along his catheter, and every few steps, he's dizzy. You go to US Embassy, na walang parking, you have your elder father with you, what you will do. And, tension and, temper starts building up, with all the traffic and all those things. And, kailangan ng requirements, kailangan pumunta sa NBI, and you drag along your father with a catheter, and it starts, ando ka na sa point, na talaga mawiwisit ka na. And I use him as my passport, senior citizen, di napipila. And, I was about to pay for his NBI, and, alam niyo na yung gobyerno walang pampalit. Mayaman si Father Leo, 500 ang barya. And talagang sasabog na ako. Siguro sinasabi ng road rage. Kung may baril ako, nabaril mo na siguro yun. Pero this stranger came up. Not came up, siya yung siningitan ko. Excuse me, senior citizen. So I was, nakipag-away na ako doon sa kahera. And he put out a 20 peso bill. Sir, ito po. That's my Jesus in the midst of the storm. And I'm calm, collected, and convicted. Pari ka pa naman. And during the day, meditating on the grace of God, in that simple act of kindness, He diffused the storm in my life. And may we be that way. Not only seeing Christ in the midst of the storm, but acts of mercy on behalf of strangers will calm the storm and give you the rest you have the rest of the day. Kahit hindi whole day, half day, mainit na ulo ko eh. At least during the half day, natapos na. Then, I was able to have my Sabbath rest and thank God. Amen?
Okay.
So, let's be that stranger in the midst of the storm, doing simple simple deeds of kindness that will calm the storm in the lives of other people. Amen. So, stand.